What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Friday night. We got 2 games tomorrow. My Bengals are playing the Steelers, AFC North Saturday. I fully expect the Ravens to clinch the AFC North division tomorrow. And then the Bengals to get the win against the Steelers, pushing the Steelers down to the 6th seed is kind of the way I see it. And that's kind of the way I've been drafting. So speaking of drafting, we're not going to chit chat too much. I just want to rip some drafts and do some different things, try a few different things, get a little bit unique, that sort of a thing. So that's kind of what's on the agenda tonight. If you can hit that like button, put some comments in. If you have questions, whatever it is, let's work through it. But yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, I don't want to chit chat too much. It's just going to be kind of a night of drafting. So we're just going to plow through a bunch of Mitten 2s. We're just going to hammer drafts, try some different things. Like I said, get some unique exposures, and see what we can put together for the Mitten 2. So 2 of 6, 1 of 10, a 1 of 10, 375 final, 375 seat final, 50K up top, more than enough money, to make it worthwhile. That's for sure. So let's get into it. Don't need alerts. We're full. We're drafting. We got the 101. Sweet. So pretty easy. We're making it a Josh Allen team. I don't think there's any reason to really overthink it. It's going to be interesting because it's always going to be Ravens Bills. It's pretty much always going to be Ravens Bills in the second round. And then, whoever wins that game is going to decide, the overwhelming chalk in, the kind of semifinals or whatever you want to call it. So whoever gets to the AFC Championship game, whether it's the Bills or the Ravens, that's where the chalk is going to be. So this is a good kind of, start if we're trying to get unique. Like I said, we're going to have to try some different things, put together some different lineups, and try to get some exposures that maybe I don't have together. So that's the goal tonight. And just, again, try different things, get unique. So Josh Allen, it's not like I'm going to do something crazy in the first round. Maybe if I'm like, pick 6 or the back end of the draft, maybe I'll try some different unique things that, people may not be doing, but I don't think there's any real reason to do that too much in the first round. But I'm probably going to start pulling up some guys that, maybe you wouldn't think that, people wouldn't pull up is what I'm getting at. So that's kind of the goal tonight. So Josh Allen, the 1-1. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Like I said, Ravens, I think he'll get that win. Bengals, I think he'll get that win. I have it pretty set in stone for the AFC. I think the Chargers end up playing the Texans and getting out of that game and playing the Chiefs in the second round. That's kind of the way I see it. So I feel like the Chargers will get 2 games kind of at a minimum, but I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. That's kind of for sure. What's going on here? Barkley, Jefferson. That's pretty interesting. Mahomes, AJ Brown. Okay. So obviously I'm not I'm not the only one on the wavelength here, but these are the drafts to try to do stuff like that with, $5. You're not setting a $25 bill on fire. But trying different things, getting unique. This Lamar drafter might get Derrick Henry again, which is pretty rare, but it does happen on occasion. I would love to get Amon-Ra, but the Gibbs drafter should definitely take him. If not, then the Lamar Jackson drafter will take him unless, he takes Goff here, which would be pretty wonderful. Derrick Henry goes there. Okay, so Amon-Ra is going to go here. I mean, and James Cook went. Okay, so I can get a little unique. I might just go with Shakir and then I guess I could go with Nakua, but I really don't like him. Let's go to Devontae Smith and Shakir. Definitely not unique yet. That's for sure. Don't get annoyed or frustrated with me here. But like I said, I'm not going to get unique until late in the draft and get some low owned, low drafted types of players. And as far as like teams that are out of the playoffs getting in, I mean, again, I said it last episode on Tuesday, huge Bengals fan, but I really, really do not see the Bengals getting into the playoffs, even though I think they're going to win tomorrow. I think the Denver Broncos against, a depleted Chiefs team. I mean, we'll see what happens, and Carson Wentz can play. I think they could do some unique things with Carson Wentz, and I think they're going to run the ball a ton with Carson Wentz. But we'll see. So that could definitely give a unique look as far as any other time you've seen the Chiefs play. So that could throw a monkey wrench into the Denver Broncos defense. And if they're weak anywhere, it's against the run. And yeah, if you have all these, read option, RPOs, things like that with Carson Wentz, you never know. And then, the Miami Dolphins would have to lose as well against the Jets, and we'll see how that goes. But either way, that's kind of the way I'm seeing it as far as the AFC is concerned. And my Bengals, I just don't think that they're gonna be able to cross the finish line there. So what are we doing here? I definitely want to get enough Buffalo Bills, but I'm not really. It's easy to do that. I'm not too concerned yet about stacking Bills just yet. And I do have Khalil Shakir. I will take Kelsey if he's there. That's a way to get a little bit unique just because of the ADP. This drafter may not take him. No, it doesn't. So I'll take Kelsey. Again, just to get a little bit unique because of the ADP drop. And then I'm going to bring up Mike Evans. Let's do that. Kelsey and Mike Evans. Then I'm obviously hoping Bucky Irving is there for me. I think this is a good way to get a little bit unique. I've been really trying to focus on getting a quality running back that is playing in the wild card, weekend. And it doesn't necessarily have to be from the opposite conference of your quarterback. Just making sure that I have a viable running back piece. And I do have an idea for something I want to try to do, and maybe we'll do it a little later in the show, depending on where I get, where I'm drafting. But I definitely want to try something with Kansas City. And we'll see how that works out. Putt Daddy, what's happening? What up? I see KC losing and Tua is not likely to play. It's slim, but Cincy might have a chance. Yeah, well, if Kansas City loses, then it's over. The Broncos win and they're in. It's done, no matter what Cincinnati does, no matter what Miami does. I think Miami could definitely lose that game too. They could win it. It's pretty 50-50. It's just the amount of things that have to happen for the Bengals, especially with this Denver. Like I said, with the Carson Wentz situation, like that's the only thing that I could see really like throwing a monkey wrench into this whole thing is if Carson Wentz playing quarterback, running the ball, 10 to 15 times throughout the game just causes enough dysfunction with the Broncos defense that, it works. That's kind of the only thing I can see, and we'll see if that happens. Right. So I can definitely take Chiefs with my Bills. Right. So Pacheco's on the table, Kareem Hunt's on the table, but I got to go with Bucky Irving here. He's a viable option. And we very well could see 2 games out of the Buccaneers. I think they end up as the 3 seed. I think they win this weekend because they have to. They win and you're in. That's it. That's all. If the Falcons lose, cool, but just take care of business, win and you're in. The Rams, I don't think are going to win this weekend. Playing Jimmy Garoppolo, I just really don't see it. I really, really don't. I think they're resting Puka as well. So they're going to take a loss, I think, and then fall back to the 4 seed. We'll see if that happens, but that's kind of the way I'm playing it. Because they're guaranteed. They're guaranteed to win the division. They're guaranteed to have a home game. And I think as far as, what's been said, what's leading up to this game, McVay just wants to get healthy and kind of take it from there. And they're confident in whoever they're playing, I think. Man, if Kareem Hunt's there, I might have to go that route. Ty Johnson, I like Brian Robinson. I definitely need to get enough Bills, which is fine and easy. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's realistically, that's enough right there, but I'm definitely going to take one more Bill. There goes Brian Robinson. That kind of hurts. With Devontae, I could go Kenny Gainwell here. That does make some sense. I'm obviously relying on Bucky Irving in the wild card round, and then we'll see what happens with Ty Johnson and Kenny Gainwell, especially with Mixon going. I mean, I do have Kelsey. I could bring in Kareem Hunt as well, but I'd probably rather stack it with the Philly side. I think that just makes more sense. So let's go that road. And then I'm definitely going to be taking a Buffalo Bills receiver. So whether that's Mac Hollins, Dawson Knox, even Curtis Samuel, I think is on the table as, one of those low advanced pieces, low owned leverage pieces. I guess Mac Hollins is more drafted than Dawson Knox, but I don't know. Obviously ADPs would say that, but I don't know. So I like having Travis Kelce here. That definitely brings me some leverage in the second round. I'm confident in this team advancing as long as Bucky Irving has a decent day against who I think is going to be the Commanders. Even if it's not, like Bucky Irving's just legit and gets a lot of touches. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He's pretty viable to get you points. So that's the type. If I miss out on James Cook, or if I'm Baltimore and I miss out on Derrick Henry, that sort of a thing, this is the type of a build that I like to do. One viable running back option, and then load up on advanced pieces at wide receiver. Especially again with the Bills and the Ravens, where you have the majority of those players, not the majority, literally all of those players playing in the wild card round. So we're down to Dawson Knox or Curtis Samuel. I might just take a leverage play with Curtis Samuel here. He's been pretty banged up, which is a big concern. I guess I could go with like Shavers or something, because he has gotten a little bit of playing time. He had that 69-yard touchdown or whatever it was from Mitch Trubisky. Zacchaeus, that's a leverage play that I've added in a little bit here and there, and I need to get some more of actually. But let's go with Dawson Knox. Again, if he is lower owned than Mac Hollins, then there's your leverage right there. Let's go with that. Cool. One in the books. Buffalo side. Let's get a back end of the draft. I want to try something with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not a playoff question, but do you think your guy Higgins next year still in Cincy? I actually do think he's going to stay in Cincinnati. Now I do think he does. I mean, I guess it depends on what they're gonna like, what he's gonna command, what he's gonna ask for. I might just try something different. I'm gonna try something different and bring up like a Derrick Henry here. Let's try something. I think he's gonna stay in Cincinnati now because caps are going up. That's always the case in the NFL. Caps are always increasing. So they should have a little bit of wiggle room. Obviously, with the whole, what's his name? Jermaine Burton situation going on right now. Clearly, it hasn't worked out. They drafted him as a potential. I'm not saying that he was going to be the guy, the new T. Higgins, and they're just going to let T. Higgins walk, no problem. But that was part of the reason why they drafted Jermaine Burton so high, especially with all those red flags, was, to potentially replace T. Higgins. That's always how the Bengals draft. They draft, 2-3 years out. And it's really worked. It's really been it's really good. It's a really good way to draft. I'm not upset about it at all. But we're going to go with Derrick Henry here and see if something different can happen for us. But it depends on how much he asks for. Like if he's trying to get like 30 million, which is probably what he's going to be after, I might change my tune. So really it's just about what he's going to be asking for financially. I don't think he's worth 30. If it's like 28 million, okay. And depends on how many years. Let's call it like a 5-year, 28 million, on average with an out after 3, something like that. I'm happy with that. I could be okay with that situation. So yeah, it depends on what he's after money wise. 25, no question. I'm down. 25 million, no question. 26, yeah, no problem. But anything, 28 to 30, it's gonna start to, I don't know. I'll get a little. We'll see on that. But Joe Burrow clearly wants him. He's got to be able to stay healthy. We'll see. They need to work on that defense. And, Trey Hendrickson wants more money, which is fair. They need some back end help in the secondary. That's for damn sure. I'm borderline. I'm not happy that, the season has gone this way. That's for sure. But at least we're not going to have any turnover with coordinators. Lou Anarumo would have been on a lot of people's lists if he had another season as a defensive coordinator that he had. So not losing him is nice, makes it easy, makes me happy. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents there. I think he will be now, but again, depending on the money, and depends on whether or not I can stomach it. So it looks like I have to go the Minnesota route here. I was actually kind of trying not to do that. I was hoping for Detroit, but that's okay. Let's give it a shot. And it might, because a lot of times you can do the Baltimore, Minnesota from the back end of the draft. And when you're drafting Derrick Henry, 5th overall, 6th overall, whatever. But this might make it a little different when I'm drafting Derrick Henry 2nd overall. So that's just a couple things you can try to do. Wow, I could go Zay Flowers here, but I'm not going to. It's not necessary. Let's go Minnesota. And then I might play this. I'm probably going to play this like the Vikings get the number 1 seed. We'll see. I might not. It's going to be either I'm playing it like they're losing or I'm playing it like they're winning. And that's pretty obvious because it's 50-50. I'm not breaking the mold by saying that, but that's kind of what I think I'm going to do. First drafted, yeah, number 1 did draft Josh Allen. Okay, so I have to be aware of that. What did he do? Okay, so he knows what he's doing at least. Not likely to draft a Baltimore Raven. That's something you should always pay attention to is, do the people around you kind of know what they're doing and how they're building? Not that it's like the worst thing you could ever do by drafting AFC players. Like they're both going to play in the second round, first round, second round. Most likely the Bills and Ravens are going to play and then play each other. So it's not a horrible idea to kind of leverage the second round that way, playing off of a shootout. But again, it's less likely that he takes Baltimore Ravens when he starts like this, but we'll see what happens. So I definitely want Jordan Addison. That's obvious. I want to build out this Minnesota side, and then I want Hawkinson and I want Darnold, and that's it. I'll be good on the Minnesota side. There goes Addison. That sucks. So this guy probably goes Mark Andrews. I might have to go Bateman, or maybe, oh no, I can definitely go Buffalo. That's for sure. I could go, and I probably will take Isaiah Pacheco on the other side. So let's go Shakir. That's obvious. Do I think someone will take Sam Darnold? No, I don't. So I'm actually going to try to push Sam Darnold here. It's pretty risky, and I could end up with like a completely dead team almost, but um, I am gonna try it. Therefore, do I take? Can I even take Kansas City if I'm playing it like they get the number 1 seed? If I take Pacheco, then I have to play it like they lose and they're the number 5 seed. All that talk for Pacheco going right there. Then let's go Bateman or let's go Bateman, or do I just take Darnold here? Let's go with Terry McLaurin. Don't think you saw that coming, but let's go Terry McLaurin. I'm really pushing up Terry McLaurin right now personally. I think it's very possible if there's a Cinderella team, out there, in my opinion, it's the Commanders. So let's look at it this way: in the AFC, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong on this one. In the AFC, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And it is what it is. I will take Darnold here. No need to get too cute. I could pass him. Actually, I could push him to my second pick, which I will do. But what are we doing? So I'm going to play. Sorry, I'm going to play this. Let's get back to that in a second. I'll get back to the AFC in a second here. Maybe after this draft, I'll get back to that. I do think I want a Buffalo. I got to take Hawkinson at some point. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Hawkinson and then Darnold just to get that wrapped up. It would be bad drafting for this guy to take Sam Darnold, so it just really doesn't make sense. He should absolutely take Kincaid, Goddard and Kincaid. Yeah. Or Coleman. So let's just take Darnold here. No need to keep pushing it. I don't want to chance losing him 8 picks, full round past ADP. Again, I'll get back to the AFC side in a second here. I am going to play this like the Minnesota Vikings get the number 1 seed, which is why I drafted Terry McLaurin. And then I'll be bringing in Jaden Daniels if he doesn't get taken before it gets back to me. So if I'm playing it that way, then I have Derrick Henry, Khalil Shakir, Terry McLaurin playing in the wild card round. Hopefully I get Jaden Daniels, and then I need one more, which I'll get more than that. So let's look at the running backs. I do want Ty Johnson, and then I want Isaiah Likely. So that's the way I want to build this out. There goes Jaden Daniels. So I'll just probably go Isaiah Likely and Ty Johnson. And then I'll take whatever quarterback. I would rather Baker Mayfield than anyone. But if it comes down to it, it doesn't entirely matter. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to pick a quarterback right now. Like Matt Stafford, there goes Baker. But we're going to take Ty Johnson first. This guy's probably pretty perturbed with me. Well, let's leave him Kincaid then, because he's not taking Ty Johnson. So let's go Ty Johnson, and then Isaiah Likely, and then I've got 4 Vikings, 2 Bills, 2 Ravens, and Terry McLaurin. And then we'll talk about the AFC or both conferences, but AFC I'm just exceptionally positive on, which I'm sure everybody is, but not everybody is drafting like it. And I don't really see why. I really don't see any point whatsoever. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'll eat some humble pie for it. Who do I have the Packers playing the Eagles in the first round most likely? I would rather go like this. And to be honest with you, I'd rather take I'd rather probably take Russell Wilson than Jordan Love, if I'm being honest. Well, that's not fair to say. I won't go down that road. But I mean, he does give you the rushing ability a little bit. It's just the matchup, like Steelers versus Ravens or Packers versus Eagles. I kind of like the Steelers in that, but I'd rather, Justin Herbert and Matthew Stafford. So probably Justin Herbert first because he definitely gives you a little bit of rushing ability, which obviously is a lot more important in underdog, in fantasy, DraftKings, that sort of a thing, depending on the stats or depending on the point structure. So with the AFC, let's get to that. I'm drafting like it's 100% in the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl is going to be 1/2, two in the AFC Championship of these three teams, which everybody agrees with this. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, right? If you think I'm wrong, good for you. If I am, sucks to be me because I'm drafting no one else besides those three teams in the AFC, getting like not talking about one-offs. Like in a one-off, obviously I'll take Justin Herbert. I'll take J.K. Dobbins. I'll take George Pickens, right? I'll take the one-offs. I'll take Nico Collins, all that kind of stuff. No problem. But as far as taking the quarterback and trying to get them to the AFC Championship, the Super Bowl, that sort of a thing, I am not taking any of them but those three. I talked about it on Tuesday as well. That's why I like taking Derrick Henry earlier than other people might, because he obviously plays for an AFC team and there's 4 viable options at least on the NFC side. Realistically, it's just wide. It's way more wide open on the NFC side, in my opinion. Way more wide open. I legitimately think that a team like the Bucs, a team like the Commanders, a team like the Packers could make a run to the Super Bowl. Literally upsetting the Vikings, upsetting the Lions, that sort of a thing, upsetting the Eagles. Yes, they're very tough games, but I see that being an easier path in the AFC, right? That's just how I'm seeing it. Again, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. And then on the AFC side, if again, like I just said a few minutes ago, I think if there is a Cinderella team in this year's playoffs, it's going to be the Washington Commanders. That's my thought process. Could they lose in the first round? You bet your ass. Absolutely, they could lose in the first round. Whether they're playing the Bucs or the Eagles, whatever. They're playing on the road, rookie quarterback. Of course, they could get upset. The reason why I like them, obviously, Jaden Daniels, huge Jaden Daniels fan. I like their team. I like him, blah, blah, blah. But one of the bigger reasons, they had a late bye week, a very, very late bye week. They're bye week 14, right? So they just had a bye week not too long ago. They played the whole season, got their bye week, got rest, got healthy. Austin Eckler's coming back. Not that that's a huge get, but he is coming back. Great leadership. I just think that could push them, especially if they end up playing the Bucs in the first round. I could definitely see them upsetting the Bucs. Then they go and play either the Vikings or the Lions, whoever the number 1 seed ends up being. And regardless, the defenses, especially in the passing game, aren't spectacular for the Vikings and the Lions, right? Especially the Lions with how many injuries they have. So if you're going to, get into a shootout with the Lions, I think, that could be winnable. I would really like Marshawn Lattimore to get healthy, which he definitely could do. He's not playing this weekend. Hopefully he does get healthy by the playoffs. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. That's the only game, which is pretty obvious. Realistically, I don't think the Falcons get in, but the Vikings Lions is just so close. I do think it's more or less 50-50. But let's jump into another one. I do want to try something with the Chiefs. If I can get a late pick, 4th, 5th, 6th, one of those, I'll just straight up take Patrick Mahomes and then whatever running back is there for me, Gibbs, Barkley, right? Hopefully, if I can get the 6th pick and get Mahomes, Gibbs, Mahomes, Barkley, whatever. Of course, I get the one again. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm just going to take Josh Allen. Then we'll see if we can get unique again, like we just kind of did. Depends on how the draft falls to us, obviously. Toast 0420. That name rings a bell for some reason. Did that guy just have a big win or something? I don't know if he just had a big win or I just drafted them a lot. I'm not sure, but that name rings a bell for some reason. So yeah, that's kind of the way I'm seeing. I think honestly, everybody is viable in the NFC except for the Rams. I just don't think the Rams will have it to make a run, to make a push. Especially because they'll be playing either, in my opinion, I think, unless Jimmy Garoppolo goes out there and just, wrecks the game somehow. But I just think it'll be tough for them to play the Vikings or Lions, regardless, even though it's at home. That's a tough out. That's a tough first round matchup. I mean, obviously, it's been all the talk about, 14-win team playing the 5th seed, whatever. It is what it is. I'm sick of that kind of nonsense. Like, it is what it is. It's always been that way, and it should always stay that way. But, I just really, really do not think that the Jimmy Garoppolo-led Rams are going to go out there and beat the Seahawks. I really don't. So we'll see. But other than that, yeah, I think anybody. And I like the Commanders just because I think they can get past the Bucs. I think their defense is just a little bit better. It is in Tampa Bay, obviously. And I mean, the Bucs already beat the Lions this year, right? So it is tough to beat the same team twice, that's for sure. But they know they can do it. They prove that they can do it. So even if the Bucs get that win against the Commanders, they go and play the Lions in the second round. I just think that the path to the Super Bowl is a lot more wide open in the NFC than it is in the AFC. And again, I've been talking about it a lot. That's why I think that Derrick Henry is the most kind of important and the number one running back pick. I think he should go ahead of Gibbs and ahead of Barkley. And I take him when it matters, in the gauntlets, in the big mittens, the bigger mitten, whatever, when I do draft those. I think that's where it matters, and that's where it will be more important, and that's where I will be drafting them. And these things in the $5 mittens, do different things, get unique, try different things. Again, that's what this whole show tonight is about. But, the reality of it is I think Derrick Henry is just more valuable than those other two, especially because, the Kansas City Chiefs are so much further. You're not getting a wild card game out of them. So we went with Josh Allen. We could definitely get AJ Brown here, which would be cool. If it's there, I might just take both Eagles receivers. We see Shakir fall, but not typically getting back to us. It's hard not to take these NFC teams here. I was thinking Zay Flowers for the second round matchup as just a blowout game sort of thing, advancement piece, but it's just too hard not to take these NFC side wide receivers. So let's go Jameson Williams and Khalil Shakir. Obviously, I'm going to play this like the Detroit Lions are losing. Randall, what's up, man? Can't take mini with Bucks. Can't take the Minnesota Vikings with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think they beat Lions and Bucks like you face them right away. Well, I think the Bucks end up as a 3 seed. If the Bucks win, which they have to, it's just winning you're in for the Bucks. No sense in dinking around with the Falcons hoping they lose, right? So winning you're in for the Bucks. I think they go in and get that win. And then if the LA Rams lose, which I fully expect them to do, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing, right? I fully expect the Rams to lose to the Seahawks. The Rams fall to the four spot, the 4 seed, right? And then the Rams play the Vikings or Lions, whoever loses, right? So can't take many with Bucks. I mean, you certainly could. You certainly could. Nothing wrong with that. That could vary if the Vikings win on Sunday, right? The Vikings beat the Lions, they get the number 1 seed. Bucks get the number 3 seed. They can absolutely play in the NFC Championship. So you definitely can do Minnesota versus Bucks. Depends on how you see it. I mean, if you see it differently, then don't do it. I mean, I have and I am and would take Bucks with Minnesota Vikings. I think the Vikings have a very, very, very good chance to win that game against the Lions, especially in these $5 drafts. I would definitely do it. I think they have a very good chance to win that game. And like we're just talking through it, I think the Bucks could go on a run. The Lions, again, the whole NFC to me is just completely wide open. And I think anyone could beat anyone any given Sunday. Again, I just think the Rams are a little bit lacking. That's the one team that I'm kind of, hesitant on taking to be my Super Bowl representative from the AFC. That's just how I see it. Again, if you see it different, like not everybody agrees, and that's perfectly fine. But they definitely could end up in the NFC Championship game for sure. Do I want to take Puka? Do I want to take Jordan Addison? There goes Puka. Jameson Williams. I might just take Sam Laporta here and back up my Detroit Buffalo Super Bowl. And then I'll just take Amari Cooper, I guess. Let's make it easy. Again, that's why I'm a little hesitant to take Rams regardless. Early in the draft cycle, I was taking a lot of Rams, thinking that they were going to be the 3 seed playing the Commanders. I like that matchup. So I like the Commanders Bucks matchup. I'm taking a lot of those 2 teams. Yeah, I mean, whoever wins that game, if the Commanders win that game, they're in tough against the Lions or the Vikings, the number 1 seed coming off a bye. That's a tough game on the road, right? And then if the Bucks win that game, then they're on the road, tough game against Philadelphia, most likely, unless, Philly loses to the Packers, which could absolutely happen too. It's just, again, it's just so wide open. It's so wide open in the NFC, in my opinion. So I like focusing on, like, if you look at my exposures, very much weighted towards the AFC as far as my quarterbacks are concerned. So Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, that's it. Outside of onesie, twosies, advanced pieces, as far as taking teams to Super Bowls and my Super Bowl matchups in the AFC, it's those 3 teams, and that is it, period. If not, if it doesn't work out that way, I'll shift to the NFC side and go with Sam Darnold, even the Commanders side. Like, I'd rather go that route, the Packers. I'd rather go those routes than take, Chargers, even though I think they get 2 games, or certainly Houston Texans, Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I just don't think it's viable if I'm being honest. So onesie, twosies, one-offs, absolutely. Absolutely. But as far as my Super Bowl representatives, I'm pretty hard and fast on the AFC side with those 3 teams, and that is completely it. If I'm wrong, I'm going to live by the sword and die by the sword. Not taking a quarterback, so it was going to be Mike Evans. I could still take Bucky, that's for sure. I don't mind bringing in Jalen McMillan. I've been drafting him for a little while, and now everybody's drafting him, which is fine. I could go with 2 Buffalo Bills, but I don't think that that's entirely necessary. There's going to be a lot of teams built that way. I like Kincaid. I like Kincaid over Amari Cooper, to be honest with you. But, if I can wait another round and still get him, then I will. I could definitely go with David Montgomery. That's not a bad option either. He could go to the Lamar drafter, though. Let's see what happens here. I definitely have to take one of these Buffalo Bills, and I do need a viable running back, like I was talking about earlier. And to me, that's Bucky Irving. Kind of regardless of who they play. Again, I'm planning on them playing the Buccaneers, the Commanders. But kind of regardless, Bucky's just he's just a guy. He's just legit. He's putting up points. I think this is the way I got to go. And I definitely have to get a Buffalo running back, which is typically Ty Chandler, passing game. Kind of have to go down that road. And then I can definitely still bring in Brian Robinson Jr., which I probably will. I've been looking at him a lot more, bringing in a lot more Brian, like just Commanders in general. I've been bringing in a lot more Commanders into my builds. 1, 2, 3. So realistically, I could stop there. Just bring in Ty Johnson. 3 more picks should be 3 more picks. So Ty Johnson, Brian Robinson Jr., and then it's either going to be Jalen McMillan and 2 guys that I've been dabbling with a little bit, and I want to keep doing it here and there, especially in the gauntlet. I need to get some of these guys in there. Olamide Zaccheaus and Zach Ertz are 2 guys that I'm adding in late in drafts. Ertz ahead of Zaccheaus, if I'm being honest with you. He had that 2 touchdown potential, but Zach Ertz does have 2 touchdown potential as well, but he's just getting more looks, more targets, that sort of a thing. And when Diami Brown comes back, it's a little spread out. I'd rather the tight end in this situation. So we'll see who ends up back to me, but these are the types of guys that I'm trying to take right now, and especially in tonight's episode, to try to get a little more exposure to. Like Ty Johnson gets drafted in almost every draft, if I'm being honest. Even though his ADP is quite low, he's still getting drafted most of the time. But yeah, I mean, perfectly viable. I think, well, if I have Bucky and then Brian Robinson, then I only need 2 spots for my, in my Buffalo Bills should be able to take care of that, hopefully in the wild card round. Basically it comes down to who I think wins that game. And I just want to, I kind of want to go on both sides of this, the Buccaneers and Commanders I'm talking about. But who do I think wins the game? So we'll see. I might go Washington here. But the door's open. Definitely going to take Ty Johnson and definitely going to take Brian Robinson Jr. I need those 2 pieces just to advance and, build out my wild card round lineup. That makes sense. And then we'll see if McMillan gets taken by the Baker Mayfield drafter, if Baker even gets drafted, we'll see. Or if just someone as a bring back, whatever you want to call it. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, I definitely want to do a couple more. I really want to do a Kansas City build. So let's go Ty Johnson. Let's go Brian Robinson. And then we'll take whoever's left over of these 3. I'll kind of let the draft room decide. I won't be taking Cade Otton. So it's either Jalen McMillan or bust. Like if he goes, then I'm taking the Washington side. I think this order that I have it is the way that I will draft it, depending on who's there. And then, obviously I'm rooting for the Bucks to win that game. So I have more pieces advancing. So yeah, I don't think you have to build it out. And that's the other thing I think people are afraid to do in these playoff formats is drafting players that like people seem to be going too all in on bad teams. It's fine to take a player that's just going to play one game, get you through the wild card round, and then he's done and dead. It's fine to have a dead spot, especially if you think you have, it's more set in stone with Kansas City, but if you think you have, bye week players, right? If you have Kansas City Chiefs, obviously you know you're getting those players in the second round. If you have Detroit or Minnesota, you may not, whatever, right? But if you think you have number one seed type of players, comebacks, whatever, then it's fine. It's okay to have someone just be completely dead after the first round. What I'm saying is I think we see too many people draft, Houston Texans because they think they have to, Denver Broncos because they think they have to, right? Like, it's fine. I take a one-off Cortland Sutton, that's for sure. I take a one-off Cortland Sutton at the end of the draft in my head, knowing that I'm only getting one game against Buffalo with him, right? It's a good matchup, though, and he should hopefully put up enough stats to get me through the wild card round. But I'm not going to go and draft Bo Nix and, friggin' Jaleel McLaughlin or something stupid, Javonte Williams, that sort of thing. I'm just not doing it. Meanwhile, I am doing that on the Washington side. But like I've been preaching for this whole show for the most part, I just really think that the NFC is exceptionally more wide open. So Mayfield did go, but Rachaad White gets drafted. That's, Rachaad White's definitely a viable piece. I draft Rachaad White as well. It's a good way to do it there. Actually, this is not a good build. Maybe I haven't drafted with this guy. 3 quarterbacks. I'm going to go through this draft. I'm going to take a look at these drafts after just to kind of do something different for a second here. But I just want to see what some of these guys did here. So we're getting one of these two. It's going to be Jalen McMillan if he doesn't go, which I doubt he does. Highly. And then we'll take a look at these drafts. We'll take a look at this, what other people are doing, and just kind of see if it makes any sense or not. Sometimes it's good to do that too. Just look at it on your own time when you're doing drafts, just to see what other people are doing and, see if there's something you're missing that might make sense. So Jalen McMillan, but let's take a look. This might kick us out as soon as my timer goes. Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Goff, Nakua. So all NFC. Like, at the end of the day, you got to get yourself some bringbacks. And yes, he kind of did with, Dobbins, Justice Hill, Joe Mixon, Nico. But do you really think that Houston is going to get there and they're going to be in the Super Bowl against the Detroit Lions? I mean, if that's what you think, then go nuts. But I just really, really don't. I mean, I don't mind taking Nico Collins, especially if you're saying that the Detroit Lions get the number one seed. Then I don't mind taking Nico Collins at all. But Joe Mixon, I mean, yeah, I just take JK here. I like taking JK and then not Mixon. I would rather take, Ty Johnson and JK Dobbins in this situation. Justice Hill, sure. Nothing wrong with that. You might not even get Dave Montgomery, in the second round. So waiting for a running back that far, it's a little risky. You really should have taken, oh no, James Cook, never mind. I thought that, yeah, we're going that way. I guess he just kind of got sniped. There's really not much you could have done about it, actually, now that I look at it. But I don't think Joe Mixon is necessary. I would have rather taken Ty Johnson. And then instead of Justice Hill, did Tim Patrick go? So you don't even have 4 pieces on the Detroit side. It's just the 3. Can't get behind this build. Lamar Jackson, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Josh Jacobs, Bateman. So 3 quarterbacks is a complete meltdown. That makes 0 sense whatsoever. Definitely 100% do not need Jordan Love in this situation. Yeah, there's just not enough pieces here, and just doesn't make sense. He's clearly kind of trying to go, I guess, with the Baltimore, Minnesota, or Green Bay, but he doesn't have enough pieces in the Baltimore, Minnesota side. Or the Baltimore, Green Bay side. Oh, no. There it is with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, it's just poorly constructed. Don't like it. Patrick Mahomes, Kate gets Herbert, Justin Jefferson, Kelsey. I like this so far. Lad McConkey could be a good advance piece with the KC. Don't mind that. Kyron, yep, good advance piece if they get first overall. So that's where you might run into trouble. This is fine. DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, so you need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. So this is well constructed. Bear Don 54. Well constructed team. Makes sense. And that's kind of similar to what I'm talking about, to what I want to do with the Kansas City side. But hopefully I get an opportunity to kind of make that happen. That's pretty close to something that I want to try to do with the Chiefs. Let's go here. Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Devonta Smith. Wow, he fell. That's nice for him. Pacheco. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Did you get Gainwell? Yeah, nice. Hollywood Brown, Goddard, Coleman, sure, likely. Yep. Yeah, this is well done. Yeah, this is very well done. I like this one. Mavila, 561. I like that. Well done. Makes sense. Yeah, you got multiple outs to the Super Bowl. Philly, 4 pieces on the Philly side. And then you got a couple Baltimore. You got Buffalo. You got KC, Baltimore again. Yeah, that's well constructed. Good team. Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Worthy Andrews. Where did he go? Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield. So what's your plan? Can't particularly get behind this. I guess you're going Tampa Bay, Kansas City. Yeah. Tampa Bay, Kansas City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Kansas City, Tampa Bay, I guess. Okay, let's jump into another one. I want to get a chance to do something with the Chiefs. Might be easier said than done. But I did a draft with someone earlier today, or sorry, I saw it on Twitter. There was someone posted on Twitter about how they're loving a certain construction. I don't agree with what this person did whatsoever. If I'm being honest, it was a really terrible build in my opinion. But it gave me an idea. Okay, so we're going to try it. We're going to give it a shot with the Chiefs. We're going to give it a whirl. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes first in the 5 spot, unless he's gone. And if he's gone, then I'll have to do some old rinky-dink similar thing that, you've done or I've done before. So hopefully Patrick Mahomes is there at the 5 pick here. And then we can try something. This will probably be the last draft. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. By the way, hit that like button. We got football tomorrow. Basically a playoff game for the Bengals. I think they get that win. Ravens, I think they get that win. Seal it up. Seal the number 3 seed. We can lock that in. And if the Steelers lose to the Bengals, then we can lock that in to the 6 seed. And then Steelers play the Ravens in the first round. And then Chargers need to win, which I think they will. Mind you, the Raiders aren't going to roll over and just lie down, but I still think the Chargers get that win and end up playing the Texans. But hit that like button for me if you don't mind. Like, comment, share, all the stuff. Helps me, helps the channel. And we'll definitely get a few more streams in before the playoffs start. Sam Robinson, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I haven't seen you in the chat before. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate the kind words. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps people construct their teams and realize just what's important in these fantasy or in these playoff drafts. Very minimal things are important. Make sure you have 5 players in the wild card round. Make sure you have 5 players in the Super Bowl, and make sure they're viable. Hopefully Patrick Mahomes goes, because I really want to try this. I really want to see if I can make something work. And I hope he takes, God damn it. I really wanted to try something different. I'm going to take Gibbs and hope that Goff falls to me, and I will just take Goff. And by that I mean actually I'll push Goff if Hal Fink doesn't take him. If he does, then that's not the end of the world. I have a backup plan. Takes Derrick Henry, probably does take him. Oh no, there you go. That's a viable way to go. I wanted to do Mahomes and Barkley, and that's probably what this guy will do. So let's go with James Cook. Let's try this. Let's go James Cook. That gives, and I'm going to play this like Detroit gets the number 1 seed. Because now I have an option, a very viable option in the wild card round, likely playing Denver. Good matchup. And the Mahomes Barkley happens. That's a nice little starting stack. Makes sense. As long as I don't get Goff sniped from me, which is very possible, badgeless. Very, very possible. And if he does, then I'll just completely pivot. But that's also another reason why I took James Cook there. It's similar to like I was saying earlier with Derrick Henry, because I can always pivot to the Minnesota side if I have to, or the Washington side if I have to. And then I already have kind of a built-in AFC side, right? AFC running back, and then I can bring in 1 or 2 more Buffalo pieces that are easy to bring in at different points throughout the draft, right? So, but I definitely want Jared Goff. If not, I'll go that route. But we'll see what happens between now and then. Realistically, there's no reason for anyone to take Goff. But you see it all the time. And there you go. So I'll pivot to the Minnesota side, which is a touch frustrating. But again, it's not the end of the world. Minnesota and Detroit are most likely to play each other in the NFC Championship if they both get there. So, and then regardless, I'm guaranteeing myself 2 players in the wild card round. I got James Cook and then one of either Gibbs or Aaron Jones. So we're going Aaron Jones. I can't push Jordan Addison. I need the pieces because I'm not getting Justin Jefferson, obviously. Was he on auto? Maybe. Yeah, he certainly might have been. I wasn't paying enough attention to the countdown. Probably. But I mean, these fill so quick that I mean, unless you're just mass entering, setting your rankings and then just letting them buck, which okay. And there goes Addison. That's really annoying. So he's clearly going the Minnesota side. Okay, then I have to go Buffalo. And now I have to take 4 running backs that I don't want to do. I'm going to have to go with the Washington side. So this is definitely a way to get unique. This is going to be a unique team, that's for sure. So I'm going to have to get at least a 4-piece on the Washington side. I'd like to get a Chief in here for sure. So Hollywood or DeAndre Hopkins is fine. I need to go like that. Like that. So I'm going to have to go Washington with Buffalo and Kansas City bringbacks. But only Kansas City wide receivers because I have to take Brian Robinson just to kind of max out my NFC side with these Commanders. So I guess this will be a team where, you know, just like I was saying, if there's going to be in my opinion, if there's going to be a Cinderella team, it's in the NFC, and I like the Commanders as that Cinderella team. So we'll see. But regardless, I'm boxed into it now. Like I could battle this guy for Minnesota Vikings. I could just take Sam Darnold here, but why? I have Aaron Jones. Yeah, cool. But then what? Just TJ Hawkinson? I can still get 4 pieces. Wow. And then there goes all the Kansas City Chiefs. Looks like I'll take like Noah Gray or something. So Buffalo again. If there's Baltimore here, I would take some Baltimore. Let's go Buffalo. Yeah, let's go Buffalo and then Lad. Yeah. Yeah. Then Lad McConkey. I still think I get 2 games out of Lad McConkey. I think I get 2 games out of the Chargers, especially if I do and I will bring in a Kansas City Chief somewhere. So already, as long as I get Jane Daniels, which there's no reason why I shouldn't. Maybe I should have taken him right there. But I mean, the Patrick Mahomes drafter could take him, and that's really it. If this guy takes him, then that stinks. But he could, I suppose, the Terry McLaurin drafter. I should have taken Terry McLaurin there. What am I doing? Not paying enough attention. Well, this is a terrible team. This is my worst drafted team in some time. I have to take Jane Daniels, because now I've just kind of screwed myself. How many picks do I have left? 4? Okay, I could still make this work. It just won't be great. And it's basically a Buffalo, Washington Super Bowl is what it's going to be, which I kind of knew. So that's fine. So Jaden Daniels here, and then Brian Robinson, and then I'm going to go with both Olamide Zaccheaus and Zach Ertz. Pretty light, pretty thin, but Lad McConkey should help. James Cook should help. So that was why I drafted James Cook, but I really should have drafted Terry McLaurin instead of Lad McConkey here, or Amari Cooper. If I really needed a Buffalo Bill at the end, you can always do like a Dawson Knox, Mac Hollins, that sort of a thing. So definitely some mistakes were made by me in this draft, just not paying enough attention. But that'll happen. Good thing it's only $5. Not a big deal. And considering I'm going this far down the rabbit hole anyways, maybe I'll do one more. I'll do one more draft at least, hopefully just one more. I really want to try something with this Kansas City side. And definitely be unique with the build. But we'll see if it works out. It might not work out at all. It might just be, chalky. It might just end up being chalky, but we'll see. So I've only got one player sitting out. This team still has a decent shot to advance. And then if somehow the Commanders are the Cinderella team, you never know. I'd rather take that kind of a route than the Chargers, the Texans, the Steelers. Like I was saying earlier, I just don't think that they're viable whatsoever. And maybe I should have went Buccaneers. If I could have. Yeah, I could have. I could have taken Mike Evans there. But then I maybe would have missed out on Bucky, but I could still bring in Rachaad White, Jalen McMillan. Yeah, that's all right. Try something different. But if there's a little piece, a little nugget, little piece of advice, like if you get boxed out completely, that's the way I'm looking at it typically, as long as I'm right on how the seeding ends up. And if the Bucks are 3 and the Commanders are 6 and they play each other, I'm really liking that game. And then I'm just kind of mix and matching, who getting enough exposure to both sides of that game, and mixing them in as one-offs as well. So yeah, we'll see. I do really like that game, but let's try one more. Give me the 4 or 5 pick. And then We'll see if I can get away with this Chiefs thing that I want to try to do. Number one again. Jesus. I wonder if I can just go Chiefs. Can I just take Patrick Mahomes 1? I mean, yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want, but The thing is, like, if I take Mahomes 1, then I'll probably bring it back with Kelsey and Worthy, which is really not unique. So it just doesn't make sense, and then they won't get back to me. So I can't really do that. Man, if I was like the 3, I could do it and make it make sense. If there's any way to do it, I mean, I would do it, Putt Daddy. I would do it. It's just like I don't care about the $5, that's for sure. It's just like it just doesn't make sense to force it because it won't be unique. It won't be unique. Like I guess I could bring in like Devontae. Let's try it. Let's fucking try it. Fuck it, man. All right, you talk me into it, Putt Daddy. Let's try it. I that's my goal now. Let's get Devontae Smith. Yeah. Yeah, let's get Devontae Smith and then either Kelsey or Worthy. And then that's what I'm going to build out is Chiefs, Eagles, Pacheco, right? At 24, perfect. And then Hollywood. Okay. So then I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm at my 5. Okay. Okay. So this might work out. Let's try it. Fuck it. Let's give it a whirl. I mean Jefferson, if he's there, I would take him. I'd take Saquon. Of course, he's gone. I'd rather AJ Brown for sure, but I do want to go with the Eagles side of this. I do want 4 Chiefs is kind of yeah, that's really the only way to make it happen. That's the only way to make it make sense. While Gibbs goes 10, Lamar Jackson drafter, that's unique. So there you go. I just threw a whole monkey wrench into this whole draft, which is fun and fine. Good. I didn't want the option to take Justin Jefferson. So let's stick to it. Let's go either Devontae and either Kelsey or Worthy. Let's go Kelsey. Let's go Kelsey and Devontae. And the reason I want Devontae over Jameson Williams is because I want him to play in the wild card round. I need quality advanced pieces. That's what I'm trying to do with this KC side. That's my idea is get some very, very solid advancement pieces. When I know I'm obviously not getting Chiefs in the first round, right? In the wild card round. So let's try that. I don't expect to get Worthy, that's for sure. Definitely don't expect to get Worthy. Do I just take Pacheco and Hollywood? I would rather go with an NFC advancement piece. So there goes Worthy. That's not shocking. I do want Pacheco. And then I don't absolutely need Hollywood because DeAndre Hopkins is later in the draft. Yeah. So I want another strong advancement piece with my back-to-back pick here. This might be a viable strategy actually in larger tournaments like the gauntlet, which I might try when we're off air here. So I'll definitely be drafting a little more tonight if you're in the streets, but that might be the way I go about this. And yeah, might shock you with who I'm going to bring up. But it kind of shouldn't with all the chatter tonight. Okay, so I could definitely go Pacheco and Hollywood. Ugh. What are these? Josh Allen, Shakir, Minnesota. I don't think I have to force anything quite yet, but I wouldn't mind. I think I might just go with Josh Jacobs here, Eagles or Rams, Commanders. Ay. Let's just take Hollywood. Let's just take Hollywood and hope this works out for my favor. I do need a viable running back, but I'm going to keep Rashad White in my back pocket. There's Bucky Irving down here for sure. What I was thinking about doing there was just bringing up Terry McLaurin, but that's a lot to bring up to the 25. 2 full rounds ahead of ADP. Not that ADP matters, but I'm also done with Kansas City now, and I have one advancement piece. So I'm going to be focusing on the NFC side, but also I need solid advancement pieces. So I have a Super Bowl lineup right here, and a good one, a very good one. If this team advances and this team gets to the final, and that is the Super Bowl, very nice looking squad. Don't get me wrong. And I'm done with Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, really, I just need good quality advancement pieces out of the wild card round. Because in the second round, when the Kansas City Chiefs are playing, likely playing the Chargers at home, I like my chances to advance. And the Eagles against the Vikings or the Lions is the way I kind of have it right now. There goes Bucky Irving. Wow, pick 30 for Jacobs. That's value. Pick 34 for Kyron. That's some nice value. And Darnold. That's just, I mean, I guess. And then goes with Nico. Okay, so perfect. That worked out the way I wanted it to. So we're going Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels. Those are my advancement pieces, right? I like that a lot. NFC side. Yeah, there's nothing else for me to do here. I definitely need some running back help. J.K. Dobbins was on the radar and still is. Steelers likely playing the Ravens. Does that make Jalen Warren viable? He's just not getting into the end zone. Not like Najee is either, but I think since I'm taking Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, I will take J.K. Dobbins if he's there. But if he's not, then I'm going to draft Rashad White. Why? Because of drafting Washington Commanders. If I think that they're going to play each other, which I do, I want it to be a shootout. I want Jaden Daniels to throw touchdowns to Terry McLaurin. I need the Bucs to be passing the ball as well. And who's their primary pass catcher? Rashad White, 6 touchdown catches, 51 catches, right? 9 total touchdowns. That's the way it's got to be. And I could just take both of them too. That's for sure. How many? 3 picks left? 3 picks left. And I have 1, 2, 3 fairly solid options in the wild card round. I wanted Dobbins, but that is what it is. I mean, Texans versus Chargers, most likely. I would sit Joe Mixon if I'm the chart. There he goes. So it doesn't matter. So it's definitely Rachaad White. And then I'm going to take Brian Robinson because it's another relatively viable option in the wild card round. And it helps, with my Washington stack, obviously. And then my last pick is just going to be the best possible advancement piece. Actually, it has to be a wide receiver. So I have 2 running backs that I'm hoping to play, right? Maybe not necessarily, but there's no running back here that, is going to most likely that I feel comfortable with, pushing Brian Robinson out. So it's almost certainly got to be a wide receiver. And then who do I think is the best advancement piece here? It's definitely going to be George Pickens out of the group left over. So I think Steelers Ravens, right? It's got to be George Pickens. Yeah, I don't want Washington again. I didn't particularly want Brian Robinson, but it is what it is. So this is kind of what I was trying to do with the Kansas City side. I wanted more viable, better advancement pieces, if I'm being honest, but it's tough. It's tough. So I guess I could have not taken Hollywood and drafted, we'll look at it in a second. Hopefully George Pickens is there. He's not. Sutton would have been a good advancement piece. I might have taken QJ. Wow. It's thin, hey? Mims? Ugh. Has looked good, but I don't know if I can bank on that. I guess it's got to be Romeo Dobbs, 11 targets, Christian Watson, but he's banged up. I don't know if I can go down that road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't just say that this is going to be perfect and take like a Noah Gray or something. Ay. Let's go with Romeo Dobbs. I don't love it. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. But let's look at it. So instead of Hollywood Brown, I could have taken Mike Evans, and that's probably what I should have done. But maybe if I do that, he takes the Washington side with this. That's tough. And then where did DeAndre Hopkins didn't go till super late? And then he wouldn't have taken Bucky. I guess I could have taken Bucky, and then I could have taken Baker. I probably should have taken Mike Evans instead of Hollywood Brown. That would have been, I think, more sound. As far as advancing, my advancement pieces would have looked a lot better. But that's kind of the strategy I was trying to do and thinking about with the Chiefs side of it. That was definitely the play because I didn't want to take that many Chiefs early, but I certainly wanted to avoid both the Vikings and the Detroit Lions with this pick here, right? That's why I wanted Devontae Smith. I would have taken AJ Brown if he was there. It would have been very difficult to not take Jahmyr Gibbs, that's for sure. But I wanted Devontae Smith. I wanted Kelsey or Worthy. Perfect. Got him. Wanted Pacheco. Perfect. Makes sense. But I should have taken Mike Evans here. And then if he takes the Washington side, then I can just finish building out the Tampa Bay side and hopefully get Bucky Irving. Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, We gave it a shot, and I don't hate this team at all. Has a good shot to advance. It's got a nice Super Bowl, right? My hope for the Super Bowl in this one would be Kansas City versus Philly, right? But I do have the backup with Tampa Bay, Washington, right? Even Green Bay with Romeo Dobbs being my last pick here. Yeah, it's important to get that running back with your number one seed stack. I think it's exceptionally important. I'd rather take Gibbs and Goff than Goff and Amon-Ra. So, yeah. So that's what I was trying to do there. But we're going to wrap her up. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming out. Hit that like button if you don't mind. Like, subscribe, share, all the stuff helps me build the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do some more of these for sure. Probably I might do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, something like that, to try to get a few in before the playoffs start. Or maybe, sorry, I'm leaving on Friday. So Thursday. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, something. I'll try to get 3 streams in next week to try to wrap this up, and we'll have all the information that we need. So that's where I'm really going to be hammering drafts personally, is once we have all of the information, we know who's playing who. I can take one-offs comfortably. You can take the NFC side, number 1 seed, number 5 seed, right? We'll have all the information. So I'll try to get 3 streams in next week. Hit that notification bell. If you follow me on the Twitter machine, it'll pop up. I'm streaming on there again now as well. So there you go. With that, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you guys coming out. Like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right and we drafted a winner, but we'll see you on the stream next time. Monday night, almost for sure. Peace. Have yourself a good night.